Call the meeting to order. Jamie, roll call.
Megan Alexander.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Sheehan.
Here.
Blackburn. Hageman.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Gerard.
Here.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I approve the agenda as stated.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Yes, I have a discussion. I would just like to add the right-of-way clarification under discussion topics E, please. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the approval of the irregular council meeting minutes from August 25th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is public comment on the published agenda. If anybody would like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and there's a 3-minute time limit.
Kathy Hageman, Bingham. I hope you have in front of you, memo that I have asked the village administration to forward, regarding the issue of the expanding deer population. It's obvious the entire village, both residents, whether living on public or private roads, has a deer problem, as does every surrounding municipality. Fencing is not going to be the answer. Village resident Jan Friedman independently began research on what other communities were doing regarding this problem. You have before you a summation of these findings. Two of the key findings are currently Southfield, Farmington, and Farmington Hills have joined together for a deer cull in January of 2026. They are working with the DNR to formulate the specifics. The DNR does approve deer culling as probably the best initiative to start controlling the problem. They found neither contraceptives or other methods to limit growth in deer population is both expensive and not effective. The village has created a resident committee for the current road project, and that seems to have worked out very well. I respectfully ask the village to create a resident committee to investigate options relative to the deer problem, which is escalating by the day. Why a resident committee? As a recognized and designated entity by the village, gives this group some authority to reach out to surrounding municipalities. Without this authority, a committee will be spinning its wheels. Beverly Hills has been recognized as Tree City by the Arbor Foundation. I believe Bingham Farms beats Beverly Hills by far. We have to do something to preserve our woodlands. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Same thing, name and address and 3 minutes.
Jan Friedman, 32535 Bingham Road, Bingham Farms. You need something else? No. Hi, everybody. I just want to add a very short addendum to what Kathy just proposed. I've talked to one of the trustees of Southfield Township, who happens to be a resident of Beverly Hills, and they are very much intent working on this too. So in my mind, if all of 48025 in some way could get together, it is a big problem, big. I just to say one personal thing, I have a U on my driveway, circular driveway, which has 40 Annabelle hydrangeas, which for 20 years bloomed beautifully. Some of you might have noticed. We didn't get one this year, and I sprayed. What was that? Oh, I sprayed for them. So it's a big problem. I don't know if there's a tributary right behind Bingham Road, and I think if something could be done back there, it would help us a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay, moving to president's announcements, I just have 2 proclamations. The first one is for National Recovery Month, which is September 2025. So now, therefore, be it resolved that Oakland County Community Health Network hereby recognizes September as National Recovery Month. OCHN calls upon individuals, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, faith-based organizations, and schools to recommit to increasing awareness and understanding of substance abuse and the need for appropriate and accessible services to promote recovery. We do have the whole proclamation in the packet if anybody is interested. This is something we do every year and feel it's very important, so we always want to recognize that. And then also we have DARE, which recognizes Constitution Week. And let it be affirmed, just lost my space, that Bingham Farms also recognizes the week of September 17th through September 23rd as a celebration of Constitution Week in support of the Daughters of the American Revolution. That proclamation is also in your packet if anybody would like to look into that further. Next is discussion topics. I'm going to ask can we switch? I don't know if we need to make it official, but if you'd like to, we could start with the fire department.
I'll defer to the police chief for all of my comments and questions. Won't happen. You've all received my written report for the fire department. Our run volume remains high, and we are doing our best to maintain appropriate responses. In that light, there are two issues that I wanted to bring to the attention of the council and the residents that might be watching this meeting later on. The first is with regard to a residence on Bingham Road that has a driveway gate. Now, driveway gates are not illegal. They are not against ordinance, but there's also not an ordinance for a bypass system for emergencies. We have had some luck with residents of both Franklin and Bingham Farms towards obtaining Knoxbox branded systems so as to afford access to fire and police during times of emergency. This is a home that was recently sold and is being renovated, and I had spoken with the property manager it was literally a day after we had our meeting here last month, with reference to their acquiring a Knox override key switch, so that way, if there is an emergency in the home or on the property, fire and police would be able to gain access. I've heard from some folks over the years that, you can just break it down with your truck, and no, we're not going to do that. It's just as similar as, if you want water from my pool, just drive over and get it. That won't happen either. We'll be very quickly buying a new fire truck, and they're not cheap. So I just wanted to pass on that the Knox key system is something that is highly recommended. It is put in place by the city of Southfield for new commercial development within the village of Bingham Farms. It's optional for residential. It is not inexpensive, but for someone who just replaced his front door this year, just from renovation work, $200 investment in a key box certainly beats thousands of dollars in a new door. Although there are no guarantees, if it is something that is warranted, then we'd rather use that. Likewise, we had an issue, a medical response in the village of Franklin regarding someone who was at their end of life. And I don't want to get into too many specific details because that's not relevant. What is relevant is a request. And this is for everyone in the village, regardless of their age, regardless of their health, regardless of, age over the age of 18. If they're under the age of 18, that would be up to a parent. But please, for those of you who have spouses and siblings, for those of you who have kids, for those of you who have others that have been designated to make your decisions for you, please notate, please document your medical decisions. You could call it a medical power of attorney to assign someone that task. You could call it whatever you want. But please see an attorney. Please go online. Please have something. Because it is your life. It is your wishes. And I can tell you, with having a brother, when my father was dying, my brother and I looked at it in two very different ways. And we're the fire department. We don't want to make the decision for you. But if we have to, we will. And what we have to do is we have to abide by the protocols set forth by Oakland County Medical Control. In some cases, it's something that I would rather not do, but legally I have to do that. And I would just say, it's your life. You can make the decision, but your decision has to be documented. It has to be approved under state of Michigan legal forms with inclusions of whatever the state requires. Speak to your physician, speak to your attorney, speak to someone. If you have questions, you can call me. I can't give you legal advice, but what I can do is pass you on to someone who probably can help you out. I want to abide by what you want, but I have to know what it is.
So I
Yes.
have that,
Okay,
and it's designated my son who lives on Harlanson and Franklin.
okay.
How do I let you know that?
That's a great question. So typically, if there's a document that describes any heroic measures that you want or don't want to happen, or if there is a medical power of attorney,
Yeah.
have the form. It can be a copy, but it has to be a signed copy. Unlike my father, I don't need 15 of them, just one. And have it somewhere where it's visible. So you may want to have, if you have an original document that you save with your confidential or important documents in a safe, yeah, this is one you want to make a copy of. Typically what we would do, and I will use Arden Court as my example. If we're going on a call at Arden Court, when the firefighters arrive, they are greeted by a staff member who will hand them an envelope that will have the patient's information, their medical history, and any kind of DNR order or anything else like that that's produced on their behalf. So if you have a medical power of attorney, it may be a little, it might be one of those things that, let's say I'm your son, I am not, but if I'm home, great. If I'm not home, if I'm traveling, if I'm on a plane, if I'm out of the country, I may not be able to answer that phone. So I would say power of attorney is great, but take it to the next step and put
You can do
your
that.
medical wishes,
Yeah.
your procedural wishes.
Good.
Thank you. Yes.
To clarify a little more.
Yeah.
If you're living alone in a home.
Mhm.
And you have it in a place where you think it's safe, but the fire department has no idea.
Great question. So the fire department has a Vial of Life program, which we've had for 26 years now. Do you have any in the front, in the lobby anymore?
I'll have to double check if we
Okay.
have any.
Okay.
I can reach
So-
out to you if we don't.
Okay, so basically, it's what this program is it's a very large pill bottle that has some forms in it, and it has some stickers. I used to say we would include magnets, but with stainless steel refrigerators, there's nowhere for the magnet to stick to. If I have to come to your house to open your door, I'm gonna reach down for that knob. I wanna see the sticker right above the knob. If we're going there for a medical reason, and I see the sticker, then it will instruct my responders to look in your primary freezer, meaning where you cook your food, where you spend your days, that sort of thing. And in that pill bottle is going to be a piece of paper. You can make copies of it for each person in the home, but it will have your name, your personal identifiable information, your medical history, and if you have that form, fold it up and put it in there as well. So we'll have access.
Thank you for that information.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
If it's been around for 26, I'm new to the village 9 years,
Doesn't matter.
but I have never heard of this before.
This is regarding the end of life decisions and heroic measures. I do this about every 5 years. And typically people move in, people move out, people forget. It's like a fire extinguisher. Where is yours? Well, it started there and now it's 3 blocks that way. It's just a reminder. So while you can, just take note and do what you can to help yourself.
Can you put these things in the Knox box?
No, because Knox boxes are not weatherproof.
Okay.
So what happens is the humidity and temperature extremes will destroy it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the the police department monthly report. We have Chief Kurt as well as a special guest. So
I'll start off with, anyone have any questions on our monthly report?
Just one thing, Chief. I noticed a lot of the traffic citations is a lot higher for Bingham Farms than it is Franklin. Is that because you guys suggest that we own Telegraph and Franklin doesn't?
So, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have been trying to push, since I became chief, officers off of Telegraph for doing just traffic enforcement and getting into the neighborhoods and the businesses. Plus that we were short-staffed a little bit for the last 6 months or so. So that's cut into the ticket production a little bit.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, I am very pleased to announce that we have hired a new officer. We had one officer that has resigned for personal reasons. We're already short one officer. So we were able to bring Officer Roger Wessel on board. He's a 27-year veteran of law enforcement. Him and I worked together for those 27 years. For 24 years, he was also a member of the Special Response Team, which deals with high-risk search warrants, hostage situations, barricaded gunmen. He was also a team leader for many, many years on that team. He worked in major crimes and undercover unit all through Oakland County for many, many years. And that's right. How many?
11.
11 years. And he was also assigned as a task force officer through West Bloomfield to the DEA. He has received 16 unit citations, 2 life-saving awards, 2 certificates of merit, 3 certificates of commendation, and 1 certificate of recognition from the state of Michigan House of Representatives. To say that he is a great find for us and an asset is, I mean, it's just unbelievable that he was willing to come here and help us, and I greatly appreciate it. At West Bloomfield, he was also a member of the peer support team. So, he flew out to San Diego and got all sorts of training, and he understands and advocates for our officers' wellness, which I think is very important. So, with that, I'll turn it over for a few words to Roger Wessel.
Hi, everybody. Thanks to meet you. Kurt lied a little bit. It was 29 and a half years. I did a year and a half as a cadet. I actually got Kurt in trouble one long time ago. I don't know if he remembers that or not. I worked 11 years undercover. I did some surveillance work. I did some narcotics work. I ended up in my last little bit, I was running our task force unit. I did that for 4 years where we went around and we basically were kind of a jack of all trades. We would look for, people breaking into houses, people breaking into cars, people stealing catalytic converters, arresting murderers. You just didn't know what you were doing on a given day. So it was very good, high pace, a lot of things going on with that. Very fun job. Miss it a little bit. I was an FTO, training officer in West Bloomfield for a few years. Only trained a couple guys because I ended up going and working undercover and stuff, so I didn't really do that. Filled in a little bit when I came back, but nothing steady. I was a sergeant over there for the last 10 or 12 years. I was on our special response team for 25 years, longest running member on the team so far from its inception. Sad to see that go. I was a sniper on the team. I ran the sniper team for 6 years or so. I got quite a bit of experience. I will admit that I'm a little bit rusty to the day-to-day on the road operations because I was doing a lot of supervising, over there. So trying to get back into the swing of doing that stuff, writing tickets, taking accidents, runs, all that stuff. Trying not to miss the important stuff. So happy to be here. I'm a firm believer in, community relations and, helping the community out. And that's kind of what drew me to come in here, is I kind of like the small town feel. Excited to be here. If you need anything, you've got my number. You're more than welcome to call me. Help you out any way I can. Any questions?
Well, I have to comment that Officer Wessel came to the next meeting we had last week. And there were 3 different programs on safety, and one was gun safety. And you did a remarkable job.
Thank you.
I mean, he had the weapons there, and he described them, and how they function, and what they'd be used for, and then how to maintain safety and keeping them in your home. So, really appreciate it. Nice job.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anything else? Nice to meet you all.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Chief, if you have a second, could you also, I've got copies of these over here, but you wanna
Sure.
plug it for us?
Sure.
Yes, it's on our website and at the counter.
So the police department, in conjunction with the Franklin Village Library, is holding a cybersecurity and fraud. It's like an hour discussion. I'm bringing someone in from the Secret Service who specializes in this field, and I think it's not very often that you can talk to someone from the Secret Service who their number one job is investigating cybercrime and fraud. So I think this person is going to tell us how we can protect ourselves. Really, fraud is the number one thing that we see on a day-to-day basis in law enforcement. It really is. I mean, the billions and billions of dollars that are basically stolen from us, and how many residents in both Franklin and Bingham Farms have seen their bank accounts draw, money just dwindle because they've been caught up in these scams. And so I think this is very important for everyone to attend. And like Jamie said, there's a QR code on here, and it'll be at the front desk. And if you can get the word out, it's going to be a great event. It's going to be held on September 30th, Tuesday, September 30th at 7 p.m. at the Franklin Public Library. And for those that need the address, it's right here. It's 32455 Franklin Road.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have copies of that flyer right behind the
Yeah,
agendas as you exit if you'd like to grab them.
Good, thank you. Very important. I appreciate that. Next is the village manager's report. Jamie?
Yeah, my report was in the packet. Since that time, I also attended the next fundraiser on Friday, which was great. It was a lovely event. Also, I'm happy to report that when I started here, I learned we didn't have BSNA online, even though we use BSNA applications. But now we are going to have BSNA online. It's free to the village, free to residents. It's a service that will allow residents to look up their property taxes. So I'm very excited about that. And that is all I have to report.
Thank you very much for spearheading that and making it happen. I appreciate it. Next we have our Administrative Assistant Economic Development Coordinator report. Yevgeny?
The council has my written report, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I don't have any new announcements at this time.
Are there any questions? Yes.
What's happening at 13 and Telegraph?
We haven't had an update from the applicant yet, so whatever issues they're working through with the property owner are still in limbo, at least so far as we haven't gotten an update on that. The Planning Commission met on, as you can see in my report, they met on September 8th and held the public hearing for the grocery retail ordinance amendment. They did not make any motions to recommend it for approval by council at this time, partially because we don't have an update on that development. So we're kind of in a holding pattern on our end until we hear any update from them.
Any time frame on when the real estate issue is going to be resolved?
But there has been no update.
Nope. Any other questions? Okay, we added E to the agenda, which is the right-of-way clarification. I will let Mr. Gibbons start that discussion.
Yeah, thank you for having me tonight. I guess I was asked to just come and speak kind of generally about right-of-ways and property rights, especially in terms of homeowner and where their rights end and the city's rights begin, and how the right-of-way is impacted by that. I understand it can be a little bit confusing because a lot of homeowners are caring for that right-of-way, and it looks a lot like their property. But in fact, it really is not. Generally speaking, what happens is when like a subdivision is platted, the right-of-way is reserved for the city or the municipality for its really control, maintenance, use, upgrade. It is in all effects an owner. And a lot of times it is actually the fee owner of that property. But at a minimum, it's got what amounts to a super easement, a right of way to control it and do almost anything it wants to do, subject to reasonable access on the part of the abutting homeowner. So I can tell you right now, I'm in some litigation for another municipality where homeowner decided it was okay for him to put a unique drain right through his driveway, right out and through a curb out onto the street. And when I'm done with that litigation, we'll be tearing out that drain and charging him for the cost of doing so. He would have needed a permit to do that. He wouldn't have gotten a permit. I won't beat that to death. That's for my argument in court. But the point is really, you don't, the homeowner doesn't have a right to do much without the permission of the municipality when it comes to right-of-ways. It's almost total control by the municipality, and almost anything you want to do other than cutting it and caring for it is probably subject to a application for a permit to the village or wherever, what municipality you're living in. I hope that, I'm not sure if that answers any questions.
How wide is the right of way?
I'd have to see the particular property in the survey to know. You know, it would, normally it would be from the street to wherever the right of way ends. I hate to say that, I'm, 6, 8 feet, whatever, it really depends on the area, how it was platted.
The right of way is actually on a person's plotted survey land.
Mm-hmm.
And they're paying taxes on the right of way to which they have no real ownership, correct?
They may have fee ownership, which is the legal term of art, but basically it's sort of like, think of it like I own the land, or I own mineral rights under the land, but somebody else owns the land. It's the flip of that. It could be that that person actually owns the property. A lot of times they don't. The municipality or the county would own the property. But yeah, they might be paying taxes on that property, but their rights in essence are not many. It's the right to care for the property is permitted or required under the ordinances of the municipality they live in. Like an easement, you have an easement running through your yard, you own that easement, but your rights are limited by whatever rights that easement grants to another party.
What if part of the work that they're doing renders the property to be constantly underwater?
Okay, so that's a little beyond what I'm
Yeah.
comfortable opining to say. I don't want to suggest any
Yeah.
Well,
Well, think
actions that
about
either
it.
side
Maybe
might
we
have,
can have the
but
conversation another time.
sure, over coffee or something.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
I'd like to make a couple of comments, because I think this likely is being discussed because of comments I made at the last council meeting. And I'm not a lawyer. My SAT scores weren't good enough to get me into law school.
Probably too good.
But I don't make comments without doing research. So the comments I've made to the public have been that right-of-ways or easements give the village, in this case, a lot of rights. Some rights, I don't know where they reside, but they're defined somewhere what they can do. But you can put drainage systems in, for instance. Utility departments can, well, you can put all kind of infrastructure in. That's generally what they're for. Power lines, telephone lines,
Sewer.
drainage systems, sewer, that kind of stuff. But some of the implications to the homeowners have been is that the village owns that property. That's the village's. And I don't know that that's correct. You're right. I'm sure the village has lots of rights of how they can use it, but they don't have infinite right to how they can use it. And the homeowner may or may not be required to do certain permitting to use it for certain reasons. I agree with that as well. But unless there's something unique about Bingham Farms that I'm not aware of, the property is owned by the homeowner who pays taxes. That's my understanding. And if I'm incorrect, please tell me.
Well, I'd want to see a survey,
Yeah,
an engineer's survey to
Yeah.
tell you for sure.
okay.
that the term own may have been used in the colloquial sense. They really do own it in the sense that they have the
Right.
almost plenary right to control it, so. But to speak to that, your particular property or anybody's particular property in the village, and again, you're getting into cutting hairs with legal terms. I'd want to see a survey, but I would say, I'm comfortable saying that the village owns that right of way. What that means is,
I think
to
you're-
me, in terms of absolute control.
I think the village does own the right of way or does own the easement, but it doesn't own the physical property. That's my understanding, which could be right, it could be wrong, but it's my understanding.
It could,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
It may be splitting hairs by either of us.
It
on
may
that.
be, but I feel like you're here to correct something that was done at the last meeting, which is also fine, that's your job. But I don't want the meeting to be, I don't want the comments to be construed if it's not correct. If it is correct, that's fine. If it's not correct, that the residents don't own that property.
I hope I'm here to clarify, so I think I clarified what,
Okay.
if there was a question about
Okay.
the status of that property.
If the village owns that right of way, do they have exclusive domain over what happens on that right of way? To the point of the homeowner not being able to do something?
I would have to look at your ordinances more carefully. I mean, questions like that, I'd prefer to have time to sit in my
That's fine.
office and, your ordinances would spell out a lot of the rights and obligations of both sides. So it really is putting me in a bad position.
No, yeah, that's not the intent.
No, but,
Well, I think while you're here, we really appreciate opportunities to
Yeah,
ask questions and
absolutely.
learn.
Sure.
And to understand how we can be good residents. And really, I think our whole focus is what's best for the village.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
that's why we're here. So understanding what you're saying is important, but I think also realizing that how do you deal with a negative impact of work that's been done in the easement in front of your home? And so that still is an underlying question that I'm seeking an answer for. But
Well, yeah, it's a case by case basis, and what I've seen is, it's a matter of trying to work together, really.
and I would appreciate that.
I mean, the
Definitely.
municipality and the homeowner, they both have a right of way that they want protected and taken care of and maintained, and
But if something were taken to a court of law and the resident said, this is what I view should be done, and the village, as owner of that right of way, says this is what we did, and that's all we're going to do, there's a conflict.
Yeah.
So does it have to be adjudicated?
I mean, if somebody gets into litigation and wants to fight over that issue, they can, but it would depend on the facts of that particular case. I wouldn't take that homeowner's case on a contingency basis, I tell you that. Can I leave it there? It's really his case by case, the facts of that case, but I wouldn't encourage someone to bring it.
So even,
I work
I'm
it
sorry. So even though the village owns it, per se, that we are still then required to maintain it, to have a mailbox that's appropriately put together and so forth. I'm assuming that is what is required of the homeowner versus what would be required from the village.
I would want to consult your ordinances, but I would assume they read similar to that.
Our ordinance states that the homeowner's responsibility for the culvert and drain, or the ditch, the culvert and the ditch,
Maintaining.
maintain it. Well, that's what our ordinance says.
In fact, that's an amendment this council passed
Right.
either late last year
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
this year.
it wasn't
I
this
remember.
council, it was the previous
Yeah.
council.
But they removed the ditches. We don't have ditches anymore in certain sections.
But the easement,
So it's not
it's the
flat.
homeowner's responsibility to maintain
Yes, that's
Right.
typical.
that, right?
Right.
Yeah. From what I understand, we were one of the only municipalities that didn't. We had the culvert, but not the easement, so we added that in our ordinance because that makes sense.
That would be what's generally done with city ordinances
Right,
or municipal ordinances.
Maintain the whole thing,
Yes.
right? Because there's no sense in maintaining the culvert without maintaining the easement, right? So your culvert under your driveway could be clear, but your easement could be full of dirt and leaves and garbage. That's not gonna do the culvert any good. So that's why council added the language to maintain the whole thing. So I just wanna make sure we're clear on this because I think that we're getting stuck in semantics and I think that it's causing a problem with some residents and the word owns, like you said, can be legal with, other interpretations of it. But the village has the right to do work to maintain, say, the drainage system as it see fit,
Yes.
right?
Maintain, upgrade,
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
And if a resident says, I don't like how that looks, for no other reason than aesthetics, the village needs to make sure that the system we're paying for works properly from point A to point B.
That's correct.
Even if somebody in between doesn't like aesthetically how it looks.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, they have the right to free speech, so they can, let you know how they feel.
Right.
But it's ultimately, that's the responsibility and the obligation of the village.
Okay. Are there any more questions on this?
Just one. So if now, I don't mind not having a ditch. They removed my culvert. I'm totally reliant upon water going through about 2 feet of clay to get to a pipe. And it's not, but it may. I'm giving it time. It's still early. But the work they did is now, like I said, underwater. So I'm going to be the potential of having standing water forever in my front yard. And it wasn't that way before. So it's like, is there
Eric,
something that,
come
oh,
Come on.
no, it's
That's
true.
Okay, first of all, you're accusing somebody who isn't here to defend
No,
themselves
I'm just
of something.
asking a question.
Okay,
Let
well,
me
2 years
finish.
ago, your yard was underwater, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure
My
what you're
front-
talking about.
By the road, and I tried walking on it and sunk down. But I'm just saying,
And there's a
And
sump
they-
pump that runs non-stop from your house.
and
Non-stop.
we don't even know why.
Right, it's the homeowner's responsibility to find out why.
Well, okay, alrighty.
We're not gonna have an
I'm just
individual
asking the
issue,
legal part, if
and
it's
our
left worse
attorney's
than it
here
was.
to
That's all
talk
I'm
about the
asking.
village, not about individual rights. You can hire an attorney.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay,
I really
never
can't-
mind.
I can't wait.
We're done.
Thank you for that. Are there any more questions? Next is the treasurer's report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Because of the timing of this month's report, if I were to describe, I only have one item on it that's a motion. It's in your packet. If I were to describe this month's treasury report, I would say it's probably brevity. So I'll be brief as well. The village made check disbursements from the period of August 26, 2025 through September 15th, today, 2025. From the general fund in the amount of $37,066.78, and from the gas and weight fund in the amount of $431,912.85, for a total disbursement between both funds of $468,979.63. Obviously, it's light on the general side because of the timing within the month that I pay bills and I receive bills. We have two larger ones that go towards the end of the month, which is police and fire. So that represents why that one is only $37,000. And then we've made the second payment now on the roads to Florence and to HRC for their services. So year to date, just so that everyone knows, we've spent on the roads year to date $831,944.88. That's a running total. Actually just received some statements today. As soon as I receive all the statements, I'll do a recap in the October meeting for both this month that usually are included in this month and the month that we will be in. So any other questions that I can answer regarding the disbursements? Other than that, that really wraps up the treasurer's report for this month.
You're not gonna tell us how much interest you're making?
You know what, I'm gonna leave that this time around, because one of them, I'm waiting actually on the statements, but it's just as good, if not better, than it always has.
Oh, yeah. That's always the good news part.
Because we gotta do it now, the interest rates are about to come down.
They are, and we have secured, you'll see it, but we've had secured, like I talked about last meeting, it's all relative, right? We've secured a couple of good rates.
Yeah, you really have.
Yep, so, and we'll continue to keep monitoring that, and, again, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
What was good a year ago, this, current course and speed is not. But I didn't get a chance to see what the Federal Reserve did today, but the people that have the crystal balls that look at it are
They
saying.
didn't do anything today.
I thought they were supposed to, there was
I think it's
some meeting.
Wednesday, yeah, I think it's Wednesday.
So we'll see, but, majority of the people are saying that look at least 4 to 5 cuts within the next year and a half, so. If there's no other questions, then the motion is on the floor for approval.
I move we approve the treasurer's report.
I will second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to approve September 2025 bills. Next is trustee comments. Trustee Miller?
I'm sorry,
Trustee comments?
no comment.
I was at a HOA meeting, our annual meeting for Outland Trail just prior to coming here. And some of the residents were asking what is happening on Telegraph Road with the road surface supposedly being compromised by the trucks that have been going to do our road work. And they're concerned about slickness occurring over the winter months, especially with driving on Telegraph Road, trying to brake, and all of a sudden getting some
Heard anything
skidding.
about this?
Have you heard any? I'd like to perhaps have our engineering company address whether or not that's a concern as an aftermath of our road project. Because you could clearly see the black marks going
Well, I
up
think
14.
it's a good question, and we did a 3.5 hour walkthrough today. Lisa, myself, some HRC people, a Florence person, and even at 3.5 hours, we didn't have time to get to Bingham Road. So that was one of the things that's on my list, and somehow we'll follow up on it, because the absolute I'll be very polite. The absolute mess that was made by Florence on Telegraph Road, which had the northbound right-hand lane shut down for a while. I don't know what happened either. We were having dinner with friends last night who live in Franklin. They were asking what happened. It was a mess.
It's almost like a spill.
And I don't know how to answer your question if it'd be slick or not. I mean, there was a major spill, that's for sure.
Okay, let's get the answer to that,
Yeah,
and we'll let you know.
yeah, there was a major spill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it for me. Kathy?
Oh, no.
I have nothing.
Okay.
I'm not a trustee comment, but something I just thought of. Our semi-annual large item pickup is coming up in October, as well as the date for the last day for yard waste pickup is known. I don't have them in front of me, so I don't have that, but the postcard will be going out this week And those dates will be noticed on the village website as well this week. So just a heads up for everybody to keep an eye out for that.
Thank
I think
you.
it's December 4th you said for them.
Yes,
Yard
December 4th, I'm pretty sure is the last day for yard waste pickup, and I'd have to confirm the large item pickup date in October.
Thank you. Okay, I have nothing. So we are going to be going into closed session, so I need a motion to enter closed session.
I'll make a motion to enter the closed session.
I'll second that motion.
Can I just,
Yes.
you should, good practice to reference the,